With our pad stitching lines now drawn and seam allowances marked, we want to start pad stitching our lapel. Okay, so the first line we drew that was 1/8 away from the roll line, okay, this is the one inside the lapel, we're going to start doing our pad stitching. So the diagonal stitches. On that first row line, we're going to do about 1/8 inch stitches. Okay, and we're going to go all the way up that line. Okay, each of these lines we're going to do the whole line. We will stop before we get to the end of the. We'll stop when we get to the seam allowance line. All right, we don't want to go into the seam allowance. And make sure, so here I'm holding one hand underneath and I'm kind of curling it over that line over my hand, my finger. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the needle through all layers, okay? So it's going through the canvas and the wool. But I'm only catching just a little bit of the wool, just a few strands, like when we did our catch stitch. So you can actually kind of feel it. If you have your finger under there with the you'll be able to feel the needle kind of just prick through a little bit through the wool, okay? And you just want to catch a little bit, all right? And you'll do this you'll do this on every line, okay? Now, notice how we're coming up from the bottom on this line. We're coming up from the hem of the jacket towards the top, okay? The next line over, we're going to go down. Okay, so you'll go up one line and then down the next, up one line, down the next, and continue that all the way. And these stitches are about 1/8 of an inch apart. Then once we get to move to the next line, all right, that are 3/8 apart, those stitches will also be 3/8 apart. So we're going to pad stitch this whole lapel. And then when we get towards those smaller lines towards the end, we're going to go back down to 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so this first line, we're taking 1/8 of an inch pad stitching, or stitches. And then when we get to the next line, it will be 3/8 inch pad stitches. And then when we get towards the end, when we get back to where the lines are closer together, we'll do 3/8 again. And remember, we're going up one line and then down the next, and then up the next, and then down the next. And keep what you want to make sure you kind of keep what you're stitching curved over your finger, and that's all there is to it, really. So in this video you will not see me pad stitch the whole lapel. You'll see me pad stitch a few lines of it, and then you'll see the finished product. Okay, and then so I'm going to speed up the video now, and just so you can get an idea of what it's like. And then at the end, I'll give you some more direction. Okay, here we are. The whole lapel has now been pad stitched. You can see all the lines. Remember, we did up one line, down the other, and then up the line. All right, we pad stitched all the way to the end. Okay, and we did not go into the seam allowance. Notice these stitches are smaller, and that's the whole lapel pad stitched. Okay, and you can see how during the pad stitching the canvas has moved. Okay, which is fine. It's okay. All right, you're kind of shrinking, moving things as you pad stitch, and that's not a problem. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to give this a quick press. We're just going to press the lapel. And if you look at the back side of your lapel, you should see a bunch of dimples. Pressing it will help to kind of blend all those dimples in. Those dimples are where you caught your wool when you were pad stitching. So I'm just giving this a quick press. There we go. And that's it. Now you have pad stitched your lapels. And that's smoother now. The dimples are harder to see. Okay, next video I'll show you how to tape the roll line.